Okay. Okay.
My parents were. I had no choice. My parents were.
Your parents were what?
Well, my dad has dark hair, brown eyes. My mom has dark hair, brown eyes. But her mother, my grandmother, has blonde hair, blue eyes.
It didn't come through.
No, it didn't come through to
No.
me. No.
Yeah, see, that's in fact, they can produce physical unattractive features or disfigurement. Remember I mentioned that? It can. It doesn't, but it can.
Venus, thank you, Venus.
Yeah, yeah. But yours is all beauty. You've turned into everything's turned into beauty with you. But the petiteness and things that you would see as
when I was young, I was not attractive. When I was,
Yeah.
I mean, I went through a phase. I used to get made fun of and things like. It was just very difficult for me
Yeah.
when I was younger. But as I got older, after Saturn returned, everything changed.
And see, Saturn on the ascendant will make, that's the appearance where you appear. And so it can bring accusations, Saturn. You went through it as a child and growing up.
Yeah.
You didn't see yourself as pretty, you didn't see yourself attractive. So as you've grown older, you've begun to realize, I am pretty, I am,
And you know what else? You might have addressed something you really addressed. I love that. There's a hairdresser that said if a woman's not beautiful at 25, it's God's fault. But if a woman's not beautiful at 35, it's her own fault.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
accusations, but
That is so great. That is,
Yeah, that's so interesting.
can you hear that stuff,
I
Karen?
love
Can
it.
you hear it?
Yes, I can, yeah.
Okay. Is this working out well? It is, isn't it?
It's perfect.
Oh, great.
By the way, if you're in a mood for a good day, I decided to look it up because it's quick. It's but that for having a nice day, may the road rise up to meet you. May the wind always be at your back. May the sun shine warm upon your face and the rains fall soft upon your fields. And then I heard that thing, and may you be buried an hour before the devil knows you're dead.
I like that one. I got a lot of Irish blood, English Irish in my, so that's amazing. Okay. Did I go through this already? Did this? What am I doing here? Am I doing something wrong? Oh, that's where we were. Okay. Even with a hereditary predisposition to this, it can cause severe challenges through a personality that can be morose or depressed, often and shy and timid. Okay?
Yeah, I wasn't shy growing up. I just morose or depressed. I was
Yeah.
always very depressed.
You're depressed a lot?
Yeah, yeah.
That's interesting.
It can come out. I can
Yeah.
get depressed like easily.
Yeah. Not anymore.
Not really, no.
Not
I mean,
anymore.
it can, but
Yeah.
like I'm more aware of it.
Yeah. So Saturn-Mars aspects, including stress aspects, can bring discipline. Saturn energy Mars. Afflictions between the two planets demand exercise to prevent. We talked about this. Saturn extreme restless and Mars energy. People who have aspects, especially stress between these two planets, often make great competitive athletes. Now that's a positive way of using that energy.
Endurance.
Mars rules the muscular system with Saturn the skeletal system. Without the expenditure of energy demanded by these two planets, you will often see an angry Mars and a resentful person with Saturn.
Yeah.
Because why? Saturn,
Yeah.
Jupiter's the future.
People, yeah.
Jupiter's the present. Jupiter's the eternal present. Jesus, I am and I am and I am. The more we're able to be here now, remember I told you the word no has what in it? N-O-W, now. Okay?
Yeah,
You can't learn if you're not, because if you're in a room listening to me right now, and you're thinking about your children, or you're thinking about, I gotta pick up some bread later, I get this or that, you're missing something, aren't you? You're missing something right here. So the ability for a student, a good student, to be here now, instead of having what we call attention deficit disorders, let's give them Ritalin, give them pills. Let's not teach them to meditate, to reflect, and to concentrate, because that would take some effort. It's let them sit in front of the TV all day and then wonder why they're dyslexic, or they're this or that, or they're attention deficit. You see what I'm saying? I mean, we create these things for our children because we don't understand this. Okay? Wisdom. Knowledge is proud and knows so much. Wisdom is humble and knows so little. Right? And I hope I'm giving you some wisdom here. I hope you're gaining wisdom. Not just a lot of information, a lot of knowledge. That's good, but knowledge without wisdom it's not the best, okay? Takes both, Okay. All right. I often see, by the way, I do a lot of charts for people where they want to have a relationship chart, they want to see their mate.
Synastry.
Yeah, and I see men with these Mars-Saturn aspects, and that can be very... What was that?
The cat.
What?
The cat did that? Yeah.
Oh, you heard?
He walked into the blue.
That was strange. You want to talk? You want to give this talk? Okay. In your pause. So where was I going? I forgot.
Charts.
The men that have
Oh,
that.
it meant because of Mars is anger and Saturn is I'm not going to ever forgive you. It's I'm going to accuse.
Yeah.
So every little hurt that comes along, and they often are like that themselves. You know, their feelings are hurt so easy,
Yes.
and they never let go of it. You can't get them to let go, and you start saying, "Stop living in the past." You know what they do? They go right back to the past. Well, let me tell you what my mother did to me. What my dad did. My dad was this. That. I said, why do you live there? Why don't you let go of this? It's like Karen and I were talking about the nurse that had a daughter that's suicidal. I don't want to. Nobody knows who we're talking about, so I can talk about her. But Karen said to me, you know, she just constantly got filled with so much hatred towards her brother who molested her child, which you can understand, right? But she keeps reliving and playing it back. And Karen tried to say, you've got to let go of all this. It's only going to hurt you to be thinking this way all the time. Carry this hatred in your heart. Because what happens with malice, bad ill will towards others, malicious thinking.
Oh my gosh, I have to tell you something.
Okay. After this,
Yeah, I was just-
malice sucks up the greater portion of its own poison or its own venom and poisons itself. Did you hear me?
Yeah.
Where'd you get that from? It sounds right.
I got it somewhere over the years, but I love it. I'd like to take it for mine, but I might have got it myself, but I think I got it from somewhere. Malice sucks up the greater portion of its own venom and poisons itself. So when we have ill thoughts towards others, we hold on to them. These Mars-Saturn aspects do that a lot.
Yeah.
They're self-destructive. They're destroying themselves. They think the thoughts they have are being directed towards somebody that's going to cause them. That person doesn't even know you have those thoughts half the time. They don't know how much you hate them. And if they find out, they're just going to strike back. You see what I mean? So what good does it do to harbor? That's why it says forgive. You know, Scripture's full of that. Forgive. You know, 7 times forgive. You know,
Or giving.
giving. Say it again.
Or giving.
I like it. See, and see that again. You think with. That's why words are so important. You know, to see what we're saying. I tell people there's only 3 responses in life. You can accuse, fault find. I spent years doing that. You could be apathetic, you don't care anymore, try to kill yourself, do whatever, I don't care, I just give up. And then you'll learn the perfect response, which works miracles in your life, and that's called praise and thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Praise the Lord, thank you. All things work together for good. Praise good. Praise your family. Praise those that hurt you. You know, why curse them? Doesn't do any good. Now you're gonna tell me something.
Interesting. So a gentleman that I dated briefly had this conjunction in the second house, and you know what this actually reminds me of something he used to say. He used to say, "I hate seeing other people happy. I want to be the only happy person."
Oh my God.
Yes, I want to be the only happy. I don't like to want other people being happy.
I hope you didn't date him too long.
No, gone. He used something. I'm telling you, that aspect.
It's like when you have resentment, you withhold your
Yes.
love. When
Yes.
you forgive, you forgive.
He can't. Yeah.
Giving
Yeah.
the love.
You two are a good team together. You know that?
Oh, thank you. That's what
You know you are. Maybe you should co
That's
produce the show.
that's what you saw the guy that
I think
the
it'd
first
be a
time.
great
That's what
team.
he said. That's what he said. We should. Yeah.
You know, she's got you are very high energy. You know what I mean? And you're a little nervous sometimes. She brings it right back down again. I noticed that with her. She's really collected. You know what I mean? I'm like you.
Yeah.
I'm like even up here. I'm just going a mile a minute. You know. And you're like that too. You got that high energy, right? But she's so grounded on some level. I noticed her handling, and she brought you back down real nice. You know, whenever the things would get a little bit too fast, she'd slow things down.
Well, I did also take a lavender pill beforehand. You actually take a lavender capsule, and when you burp, you get.
What did you do?
Lavender. Lavender is very calming.
Oh, my wife would like to hear
Lavender
that.
is very calming. So I had this little pill and I took it, and every time I burped, I had like this lavender. And it's like,
You know, my wife's really big on lavender too.
I use it every night.
I love
Yeah.
Yeah, when you sleep, I have it.
Aromatherapy.
Yeah.
Well, you know, I love dial soap for some reason, right? I've always liked
It always
that.
smells like pineapple, right?
Yeah, well, I found lavender dial the other day. I bought a bunch of it. My wife's gonna love lavender soap, but she's into lavender and she knows that. She always says it helps you sleep better and all this stuff, you know.
But it has a very calming effect when you ingest it.
Wasn't there a song, Lavender Blue, Lavender something?
It's not lavender.
You remember this
I don't
song?
know, it's strong. To be honest, I get to regular.
Are we having any fun yet?
Every day.
I'm not worried about the clock, honey. I'm not worried about the clock. You know what, we're half an hour over, but you know what? I'm having too much fun, a few hours will stay. So anyway,
I need to leave.
So-
Well, they're not gonna get one.
okay. People who have aspects, especially stress between these two planets, often make great competitive. We've been there already. Often lives in the past, that holds on to unconscious resentments, and can be accusatory and judgmental towards others. The humor of Saturn's satirical humor, from where the word came from. Critical, ridicule, making fun of others. That's satirical humor. Some people are real good at that, and they make you laugh with that. And so it's a positive side of Saturn, okay? Poking fun at others, right? Like the satirical cartoons and all the things you see where people are making fun of other people. That's a gift in itself, and some people have a good command of that, you know? Your friend had that the other day when he was here, okay? So, and I said something to him, but he threw off 100%. I would challenge him. I don't want to be like that, but I know some things I didn't say. Anyway, I'm not.
Oh, no, do it.
No, I don't do that in a group. But Saturn loves to be enticed with the forbidden Eve and the fruit of the tree. For example, at its worst, Saturn is subtle like a snake and devious like the devil. Saturn is unconscious resentment. And Saturn works like this, my friend. Saturn is like this. Saturn is just subtle. Remember, it's the cross over the crescent. The soul's being perverted by the world. You see it? By the carnal self. The carnal self is dominating the soul. So, whereas Mars is the carnal, we use an arrow, but it's really a cross over the circle, right? That's the conscious, willful mind being dominated by the carnal world. So Mars says, I don't like you, I'm going to knock you down. It's confrontational. But Saturn's subtle. Saturn won't do that. Saturn won't do that. Saturn says, yeah, Rose is really nice. You know, she's really nice. I like to watch. Let me tell you a little thing about Rose.
Saturn.
Oh, let me just tell you.
Or there's a shame she drinks or something.
Yeah.
I've heard her lavender pills.
Yeah, that's... Yeah, you got it. That's Saturn talking, right? Yeah. Saturn's subtle. It's not going to come. He'll put a knife in your back in a minute, you know?
Yeah.
You know what Saturn's sign rules January, right? You know what January's rule named from?
No.
Janus, the two-faced god.
Oh,
Is that? And I noticed that about I have a friend who was Capricorn. He's so sweet to me. He was like a brother. I love the guy. I mean, I get in more trouble with him though. It's something about him. He's, you know, the word. Oh gosh, there's a word that describes it. Oh gosh. You know, we'd be down. I remember walking San Francisco and some street guy. They always pick us out. I don't know why. You know, they picked me out one time with my wife. This little guy starts two-stepping right behind me when I'm walking with my wife, and I turn around and I confronted him. You know, and yeah, you know, he's a little tough guy. You know. And I reached in my back pocket. I don't have a damn thing, but he didn't know that. Don't you come out of there with it. Get the hell out of my face. You know? But the whole point is, I'd be with him, and we would attract these nuts. I'm good at that. I don't know why. You know, and the darkness likes to get after the light sometimes, I think. The contrast is too much. The light bothers them. You know, so that's why when I remember we used to watch Nixon lying on TV when I was out of prison, and we'd all be sitting around, and I live in a kind of communal house, and we were all kind of hippie thing stuff. And we'd turn the sound down on Nixon when he's talking and watch his face, and we'd all see little eyes coming out of him. You could see it so well because we're in the light. And people that are in the darkness fear people in light, so they try to
Yes.
impress, they'll come after
Yeah, oh
Yeah.
my god.
But I have a theory, if I may.
them. You may.
You may know.
You have all permission in this room.
So what happens energetically, like I was playing the other day, a rose quartz, like healing crystals, they have such a high frequency that you have no choice but to come up and match that high frequency if you're sharing a space with it, because it's a higher. So often what it does is it brings out anything about you that has been deterring you from that high frequency. I think the same applies for people. And so when I'm around, or let's say somebody's really unconscious and they're around me, they're gonna blame me for anything, everything, because my resonance is bringing and drawing out that frequency. You know what I mean?
Yes,
so
that's
so
how-
if I feel like you're the kind of person that you're constantly getting blamed for everything, kind of like children who end up growing up to be healers.
Yeah.
It's because just your being and your presence is requiring somebody else's frequency to match yours to hold space. So you have
That
to
makes sense.
Yeah, yeah. I was talking to my mom about it. Like every person, like I guess when I used to date a lot more, all their subconscious and their fears always just came out with me. I'm like, why are you crazy around me? Like, what am I doing to you? They would blame me all the time for stuff. I'm
They
like,
have to find something to blame because that's
All
their
the
only
time.
way to cope with it.
Yeah.
Without the
Cope with their own guilt.
yeah.
Yeah.
And but I bring it out.
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
the shame. That's why a lot of kids
Yeah.
that are scapegoats, they have usually hold a high frequency, and then the family usually is dysfunctional and is going, you're causing all of this.
Yeah.
And it,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, I've noticed too that when I'm
But
around
it's
people,
healing,
like
that's
in lectures and workshops a lot of time, or classes particularly, there'll be somebody in the room that's got so much guilt, and they can't behold my gaze. They won't look in my eyes. One thing I've noticed about everybody in this room, you all can withhold gaze with me. I can stand eye to eye with you. And most people can't do that because what happens is they're feeling exposed.
Yeah.
That's why it's like the child that got in the cookie jar and then they catch him later and he's, and he can't look at Mama. He said, no, I didn't do that. He can't look in the eyes. So when we're walking in light and we dwell in that consciousness and we're in that spirit, we can dwell and look in people's eyes and without any shameness or
Think about Jesus. He was crucified.
yeah. Which is yeah. So that's what love is. Love is crucified very often. Love is put through a lot. But this is so much. We could Saturn for the tree, for example, at its worst, Saturn is subtle, makes it devious like the devil. Saturn is unconscious resentment. Mars is conscious anger and confrontation. Saturn is subtle and backstabbing. Mars is conscious. I don't like you, I'll knock you down. Saturn is subtle and goes behind your back. Saturn rules January, named after what? The two-faced god. Janus, we say somebody's two-faced. They say one thing to our face, but they talk to us about our friends. They talk about us negatively. That's a very Saturnine type of thing. Okay, Saturn in your chart represents areas where you face karmic lessons and where you must work to overcome fear and lack. Okay, so Saturn affects the chart by both sign and house position, and most accurately by aspects it makes to each other planets. Following interpretations are based on the most positive aspects of this placement, all of which is modified by afflictions. Okay, now, are we going to stay for this? You guys want to stay?
Yeah.
I gotta leave in a half hour.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make it a half an hour then. I'll give you an extra hour in class here.